Multiplication, vertical method 2. This time we're going to be multiplying by a tens and units number by a 2-digit number. 2,738 multiplied by 25. Keywords: multiply, times, carry over, lots of, place value and columns. You first line up the question according to place value. You can use place value headings to do this. Thousands, hundreds, tens and units. We will start by multiplying the whole number by 5 and then multiplying the whole number by 20. So if we fill in 2,738 under the correct headings, it should look like this. We will then put the multiplication sign next to the question. The 2 in 25 goes in the tens column and the 5 in 25 goes in the units column. Just like column addition and subtraction, we always start with the units column, which is the column on the right. In the units column, you will see 8 multiplied by 5. You may know the answer in your head, but if you don't, a visual way of representing this would be to draw 8 circles and to count up in 5s until you get to the last circle. The answer you should get is 40. The 0 in 40 goes underneath the units column. The 4 in 40 goes underneath the tens column and we write it smaller just underneath the answer box because this is what's carried over into the next column. Next, we do the tens column. We are still multiplying by the 5, so we do 5 multiplied by 3 or 3 multiplied by 5. Again, you may know the answer, but if you don't, you can do 3 circles and fill those circles by counting up in 5s until you get to the last circle. The answer you should get is 15. Next, we need to make sure that we add the 4 that we've carried over. So 15, add another 4 is 19. The 9 from this answer goes underneath the tens column. The 1 from this answer is carried over into the hundreds column, and again it is small and it is underneath the answer box. Moving on, still multiplying by 5, we do 7 multiplied by 5. For this we're going to draw 7 circles and we're going to count up in 5s until we get to the last box. The answer is 35. We need to make sure that we add the 1 that we carried over from the previous column. So 35 add 1 is 36. The 6 from this answer goes underneath the hundreds column, and we carry the 3 over into the thousands column, making it smaller and making it underneath the answer box. Next, we've got the thousands column, so we're doing 2 multiplied by 5. For this we draw 2 circles, and we fill them with 5s, counting up in 5s, which makes 10. We also need to remember to add the 3 that we carried over from the previous question. So this is 10 add 3, which makes 13. Because this is the last multiplication in the thousands column, we can fill the answer in 13 as usual without carrying any over, because we don't have any numbers in the 10,000s column. Okay, now that we've multiplied the whole number 2,738 by 5, we now have to multiply the whole number by 20. We do this by multiplying everything by 2. But first, because it's actually 20 we are multiplying by, we need to put a 0 in the units column underneath our other answer. We're putting a 0 because we are no longer multiplying the units. We are now multiplying the tens. So everything is multiplied by 20, but we think of it as multiplying by 2 because we have put the 0 there. So the first number, again we're going to start with the units column on the right. Firstly we're going to do 8 multiplied by 2. To work this out, you can draw 8 circles, and instead of counting up in 5s when we were multiplying by 5, we're multiplying by 2, so we're going to be counting up in 2s. The answer you should get is 16. The 6 is going to go underneath the tens column this time because it's the next available box. And we're going to carry the 1 over into the hundreds column. Next we're still multiplying by 20, but we're thinking of it as 2, so next we have 2 multiplied by 3, or 3 multiplied by 2. To work this out, we're going to draw 3 circles and fill them with the 2 times tables to work out 3 lots of 2. The answer you should get is 6. This answer simply goes under the hundreds column. Before we do this, we need to add the 1 that we carried over from the previous question. So 6 add 1 is 7. This answer then goes underneath the hundreds column. Next, we've got the hundreds column, so we're doing 7 multiplied by 2. We draw 7 circles. And because we're multiplying by 2, we're going to count up in 2s. The answer is 14. The 4 from this answer is going to go into the thousands column, and the 1 from this answer is going to be carried over underneath the next column, which is the 10,000s column. Capital T and a small h. 2 capital T's and a small h, 10,000s column. Okay, finally we're going to do the number in the thousands column, which is 2 multiplied by 2. So we need 2 circles, and we're going to fill them with the 2 times tables, or counting up in 2s, which is 4. We mustn't forget to add the 1 that we've carried over previously, so 4 add 1 is 5. This answer simply goes in underneath the 10,000s column. The final step of working out the answer is to add both of these numbers together. We are adding what 5 multiplied by the whole number is, and what the whole number is multiplied by 20, in order to find out what the whole number is multiplied by 25. So a simple column addition. We also have a video explaining this. We start with the units column, and we've got 0 add 0, which is 0. We've got 9 add 6, which is 15. The 5 goes under the tens column and the 1 is carried over. Next we have 6 add 7. We also need to add the 1 underneath. If we use the 1 to add to the 6 to make 7, that would be 7 add 7, which is 14. Or if we do 6 add 7, that's 13, and add the extra 1 is 14. The 4 from 14 goes underneath the hundreds column, and the 1 is carried over into the thousands column. Next we have 3 add 4, which is 7, add another 1 is 8. And finally we have 1 add 5, which is 6. So the answer to 22,738 times 25 is 68,450.